right, good evening. This evening we're going to practice Guru Yoga, and in Amrita Mandala, the main tantric practice for the purpose of realizing emptiness is Rainbow Body Yoga, as you know, and Rainbow Body Yoga Light. Like you read last week from Facebook, I felt it necessary to have a light version of Rainbow Body Yoga that new Sangha members who start practicing how they prepare for the full version. But anyway, in Rainbow Body Yoga we use Buddhist deities, and these deities are there because of Guru Rinpoche. He's the master who passed the deities to me, and I have passed them to my students. So this makes that practice Buddhist Tantra, because the deities are, the energies have a distinctly Buddhist energetical feel. And that's how it will remain. Rainbow Body Yoga will remain the main practice, given the most importance in every practitioner's case until reaching perfection of 10th Bhumi, until realizing emptiness. But I also have other very dear masters, gurus, who I've had the fortune to receive blessings and immense support from since when I was a little boy. And that's mainly Babaji, who is here sitting in the small picture. And Babaji has given me a number of teachings throughout the years, and back like prior to 2014, I was mainly teaching, Shaiva and Shakta tantric practices that I got from him, a lot from him, and from few other Hindu gurus. But in the present present syllabus of Amrita Mandala, I think it's very important what Babaji and Hindu tantrics have to offer for us. And that is exactly because I've talked about this many times before, and it's always when you decide to do things one way, you are deciding not to do other way, right? So this is the difference. What I'm talking about is the difference between Buddhist energies and the energies of Buddhist Tantra and energies of Hindu Tantra. They have different feels. And you might have heard me talk about before that I think that Buddha Dharma that developed into the religion of Buddhism and Buddhist tradition was an effort to correct some basic mistakes in the larger dharmic scene in India about 2,500 years ago. But then, it didn't go like that, and Buddhism started to develop into its own thing. Although there was a long period when the so-called Mahasiddha era, when practitioners, they didn't really think in terms of Buddhism and Hinduism. The word Hinduism itself is a very new term invented by, I think, Brits a couple of 100 years ago. So at some point, it was kind of pool of different approaches, different views, different applications, different practices, and teachers passing on these various selections of teachings to their students. But as you know, at this stage, like 2,500 years later, after Shakyamuni's time, it's very clear-cut. There is Hinduism and their practices and teachings, methods, and then there is Buddhism, and the two don't mingle. Unfortunately, except in the case of some individuals here and there, both practitioners and teachers, but there really isn't like that same kind of, how do you say, same fearless spirit of inventing and coming up with solutions to problems anymore, because this separation into different traditions have become so black and white. But I feel extremely fortunate and blessed to have had masters both in physical, but also most importantly non-physically, from both traditions, because like I said, when you decide to do things in one way, when you decide Buddhism that emphasizes wisdom practices and emptiness, you necessarily put some other things aside, and you can't really, or what has happened in Buddhism, that you can't really, well, they have defined their tradition in that way. But what we started this morning, when I was trying to struggle through Rainbow Body Yoga, we used that love, that bhakti, and that bit already, it is known in Buddhism, like I said, as Shraddha, but the idea originally, it's like an ancient spiritual practice. Like ancient, I mean like maybe 10,000 years, 20,000 years or more in India, the practice of bhakti yoga has been exercised. So it really is ancient in that sense, maybe even older. But I think 10, 20,000 years is kind of a safe number. There are documents and art in India of, very old temples that are thousands of years old, and some organizations that are up to 12,000 years old. There is like this, the organization that organizes the Kumbh Mela, which is the biggest festival and spiritual festival, the biggest in the world, held in India. That organization is 12,000 years old. So it's pretty old, and it gives some idea of, how old these core practices are. But so a little bit about, so we will practice this evening with Babaji and Mataji. I mentioned earlier that Mataji is the yogic companion of Babaji. Mataji was presented as Babaji's sister in Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi. And that's because, for the same reason why Jesus's mother was said to be virgin, right? So it was kind of, in India, even today, there is this idealism about purity and sexual purity and virginity. And, that's why Yogananda presented Mataji as Babaji's sister, but she's not his sister, but his companion, a tantric companion. So there are bits and pieces of Babaji's and Mataji's, their biographies, some information about them here and there in different books, including Yogananda's autobiography. But to me, such information has never been important, not in Babaji's case, nor in Guru Rinpoche's case, or in any of the masters' case who I received teachings and transmissions from non-physically. I have simply never felt the need to have that information, where they were born, where they lived, who they knew, who they studied with. To me, the most important was what I emphasize in my teachings a lot is to receive the transmissions and to understand the transmissions. Because, that's the foundation of the whole tantric methodology. So if you come and ask me that when did Babaji live and all that, I don't know. Maybe he lived in a human body some hundreds years ago. I don't know. It makes no difference to me. What makes difference is the transmission, that knowing that I can at any time pull him from his sleeve, ask blessings, receive them, and get benefits. That's always important, most important. And as you know, this is how I teach also. So in Shraddha or Bhakti Yoga in Buddhist tradition, I've heard some Buddhist teachers explain it, compare it to the Hindu Bhakti Yoga as less emotional. So that Buddhist Bhakti Yoga is less emotional than Hindu Bhakti Yoga. It is true that in some styles of, Hinduism is a vast, complex, vast array of different types of spiritual approaches and methods. But I've also seen, when I went to India, I've seen people go kind of crazy with their Bhakti Yoga. I mean, like this trance type, really going nuts. Going crazy about Krishna, going crazy about whoever their guru figure happens to be. So you can definitely do you understand? Like if you take that, extreme devotion, just extreme, I'm yours, God, Krishna, take me, that kind of fanatic, pretty extreme. So I've also seen it. I have good stories about this when I've seen in India. But to me, that is not Bhakti Yoga, because yoga by definition is something that increases balance in us, increases clarity, and all that, like what we see in charismatic Christianity, doesn't do that. So the basic definition of any yogic practice is that there is balance increases in the person's mind, health and well-being, and being able to get through the day, whatever you have in your daily life, it gets easier. So then on the other hand, what I've seen in Buddhist communities, even though there is this concept of Shraddha. Shraddha is a Sanskrit word that means, I guess it can be translated as devotion. Just like bhakti can be. But it's not that often mentioned in Buddhism. Because, again, the focus is on wisdom practices. But those traditions that do, and those teachers that I have seen mention it, to me it kind of seems a bit too flat. So there definitely is no worry for them to get over emotional. But I think it's too flat, that the heart doesn't really burst open. So I'm just giving different expressions, different ideas that we will, how I practice Bhakti Yoga and what I want to give you, that you can use it in your whatever practice, whatever practices you do, Guru Yoga, Deity Yoga, all that. And this is what I started this morning by giving a little moment to discover that pure love in us. So we have about an hour and a half to practice, and I hope that we will be able to cover both Babaji and Mataji. But let's see, it might be just Babaji for this evening. But we will really soak into it, and I will give you instructions how to really find that love, that loving devotion in you, so that you can use that as a strengthener with your connection with Babaji, and also in other sessions with Guru Rinpoche Yeshe Tsongi. And to come back to how Buddhist Tantra is designed and what it kind of puts aside because of the way it's designed, is that well, it's kind of like the energy of Buddhist Tantra is like air, and that air is pressurized. But Hindu Tantra is like water, and that water is pressurized. You can understand, like if you do this, you can feel some, the air touching. There's some little air pressure. But if you did the same thing in water, it would feel different. It's kind of like that, the difference. And, in our tradition, well, it really shouldn't even, I shouldn't have to say in our tradition. I should be able to say that in all traditions of Dharma, in all traditions and systems of enlightenment, the goal is to reach light body or rainbow body. I don't think there will ever be a day when, we can say that all traditions really aim for that and realistically can reach that. But I feel that it's sad that it isn't like that. But it should be, because light body, first you realize emptiness, that you transform your self-based existence into your, like I phrased yesterday, your familiar sense of me. You realize that Buddha nature that is clear, sober, soft, and always grounded. And then building on that, you take it a little bit further because we can, and because it has to be. We inhabit these physical bodies, which means that throughout our life, our self-based habit patterns, negative habit patterns, as well as traumas, have had an impact and have left an impact on our physical selves. So this means that even if you perfect the 10 bhumis, meaning you realize emptiness in full, you still have the echoes, samsaric echoes, traumatic echoes arising from your cells. So that is the difference between somebody who's realized emptiness and somebody like Babaji or Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogdel Mataji, many others who have realized light body. And it is because of that air pressure, water pressure factor why I feel that Guru Yoga with Hindu gurus or some deity practices that I've given. Many of you have received Dasha Mahavidya, 10 wisdom goddesses. That's water pressure. It cleans out the cells of the physical body. So this is why I feel that I've been always looking for the shortest, most concise and fastest way to get things done. And this has little by little developed into the method that we have today. And it's the same dedication, same idea to me when trying to get from emptiness realization to light body. I don't care who gives me the practices. I mean, whether it's a Buddhist method or Hindu method, I don't see things fundamentalistically like that. So what only matters to me how to get things done. So I don't have that black and white positioning between it must be Buddhist practice that takes me to light body. That would be silly for me to think in that way. But that's basically the reason why, of course, we have had Mahasiddha family for about a decade in in our method, which means that there are about 3 dozen different masters from both Hindu, Buddhist traditions. Jesus is there, Lao Tzu is there, really big names who have come to me and expressed that they want to support this mission because they think that it's very important. So their blessings, they have given me blessings and communicated to me that, that they want to support a dharmic mission like this. But also, I think it's good, I recently wrote that Rainbow Body Yoga Light material that will be taught to new Sangha members, and they will practice it for 1 year before starting the full version of Rainbow Body Yoga that you all have learned the first. But this will also be before getting Rainbow Body Yoga Empowerment and Rainbow Body Yoga Light teachings. There will be an introductory practice material on the website, and that will be Guru Yoga with Babaji and Mataji. Because I think it is very beneficial and helpful for people to, water feels more dense. And when you feel love, compassion, kindness densely, instead of just air, like lightly, it feels, the experience is stronger. And this is important, especially for beginners, because, when you have meditative experience that are like, really make you melt. This is, it gives people an experience that we all in samsara are looking. All right. Now I promise that I won't stop and oh, it's me who has fell into blabbering now, isn't it? So I promise that I won't blabber during the session, but only give instructions. So let's continue to practice. Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. Let's first take a few moments to recognize the familiar sense of me, to again find that sense of being that you've had throughout your life. Relax your body into it. Recognize, feel the familiar sense of me with your whole body. As the needless tensions soften, you feel more embodied. You feel more blending with the body, being in the body. When we connect with our familiar sense of me, in other words, our wakeful nature, nature that is awake, that is Buddha, automatically the three basic characteristics are already there. But you can check if they are there. Clarity of mind, soberness in the head, softness, kindness, energy of goodness in the heart, and unshakable groundedness in the gut. And even though I say head, heart and gut, clarity, softness, groundedness, as three separate things, in our familiar sense of me, these three are together. It's just that we can look at the pyramid from different angles and see different facets of the pyramid. But it's one whole, three aspects into the one whole thing. And then let's take a moment, just like we did this morning. Every one of us has experienced pure love in our lives towards somebody or something. Maybe a pet, maybe our children, our companions, whether present or past, maybe parents, some other people. Don't worry if it's an ex-partner of yours. Don't worry, don't start thinking about how you separated from that person, but just remember that love, that pure, really complete love that you had. And experience it, that pure love. So you're remembering it, and then take a moment to feel it fully with your whole being. So your familiar sense of me, your recognition of the basic state becomes charged with this flavor of love. It becomes sweet, like honey. It's as if your whole body becomes covered with honey, both inside and outside, isn't it? And love is interesting because it's magnetic. It's like glue. It glues bits and pieces together. In other words, it unifies the whole body. We are working with the same energy with bodhicitta prayers, bodhisattva vows. But when it's love instead of compassion, I feel that it's kind of more magnetic, it's stronger, it's sweeter, and it's more personal. So it has more meaning. When you just sit in this pure love, it really unifies the body and charges the body with this very sweet, loving, obviously, and magnetic energy. It feels very natural, warm. All right, let's increase the increase this love a bit more. Without yet thinking about gurus, without yet saying bodhicitta prayers. So let's increase it. Feel that love more, without reservations, without limitations, without boundaries, without holding back. Feel that love in you more. Release it. huge amounts of water are dammed in these big dams, and it's not that there's only one door of the dam open, but the whole dam is opened so that the water of love can get released completely. As your, we all have been hurt in life, and that's why we hold back. We hold back in our love, we hold back in and are scared in different situations, and it can feel actually slightly aching when you completely relax and allow that love from your heart to flood openly. There can be some aching sensations, opening sensations in the cells of the body, in the nadis, in the meridians. You might have such sensations, but they will pass. What is this love like? What is the nature of it? What is the feel? Kind of what is the personality of it? If you spoke from that love, what would it say? And how would it say things? If it acted, what would it do? And how would it do? How would it live? And what would be the purpose and meaning of such words, such actions, such living, such a life? Of course, profoundly positive, utterly good. Although people usually, when they fall in love romantically, they kind of become a little bit blind. you know, you might have experienced this, going into relationship too fast, that you might regret later, even when. Um, but if you really, like I said, our familiar sense of self has clarity of mind, sobriety of mind. This means like having diamond-like qualities. This means having discrimination. So this love, even if we let it out and kind of dig it out in the open, it doesn't become dumb and blind. This is important to understand, because if we lost discrimination, if Manjushri Bodhisattva left our body-mind, then we would really be blind. We would just have the so-called fool's compassion, as it's called in Buddhism. We would have stupid love. But it does have this clarity, sobriety, which has the faculty of discrimination. It also has groundedness, which is also very important. All right, so what we have done so far is just to discover, to dig out and discover this pure love that is in all of us and that can be easily discovered again and again. Let's take a moment to think about all sentient beings before continuing to Guru Yoga. Charged with this pure love, think about all sentient beings. Feel all sentient beings around you. And wish them happiness, wish them health, wish them comfort, safety, and existential freedom. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be safe. May all beings be blessed. May all beings be blessed. May our loved ones, may our family members, may our friends, may our pets, may our relatives, close relatives, distant relatives, may they be blessed. May they be happy. May they become existentially free. And may they have the good karma to live in joyous, safe lives. May the people and animals who I know get a share of the love that we experience right now. May the places where these people live be also blessed and charged with this love, this pure love. And of course, may our own homes be also filled with this love. May this energy of love that we now experience travel to our homes, fill our homes, and purify our homes. For the benefit of all sentient beings. when we express such prayers, such powerful, positive prayers, and send it out, it comes back manifold. And this is precious. All right, so now we have prepped really properly and carefully. Let's move on to Guru Yoga with Babaji. I will just say a prayer to Babaji on behalf of all of us. Dear Babaji, my beloved Master, shower us with your blessings. Pour a monsoon of blessings on us. I bow at your feet. I kiss your hand and look into your eyes with love, affection, with devotion. May we enjoy your presence, your blessings, your support, your guidance, so that we may attain the same what you have attained, so that we can tap our innate potential in full and become masters, examples for the rest of the world, to serve others, to show what is possible to all of us. To benefit all beings. Namo Guru Babaji. Namo Guru Babaji. Namo Amrita Babaji. Inviting Babaji from our hearts, praising Babaji from our hearts, singing to Babaji from our hearts. In that way, expressing love and devotion towards him, with that attitude, with that kind of energy. remaining completely open, completely receptive, in the state of surrender for Babaji's blessings. To help Babaji's charge a little bit into the body, let's do a little bit of chanting of his mantra. Abahu Amrita Babaji Namaha. So Abahu, the seed syllables of Mahasiddha Bhumis, 11, 12, 13, and then Amrita Babaji Namaha. Just a couple of minutes. I'll chant it once, twice, and then join me. Abahu Amrita Babaji Namaha. 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 Just a little bit of chanting makes the hundreds of bones vibrate, all the soft tissues vibrate, and that's why you have different experience of Babaji's presence. All right, stay with him, stay with the charge, stay with his blessings, lie down. And now after 15-20 minutes of rest, let's sit silently, still tuned in, and then we'll just do a short version of basic prayers. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you, Babaji. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being available. May our friends, relatives, loved ones, our parents, our children, our pets, our workmates get their share of these blessings. May they also have the fortune to have living connection with Babaji. May they have Babaji's blessings also. Let's chant, may all beings be free 3 times, and after that, dedication of merit. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Join hands. There. Tomorrow we didn't do Mataji in this session. And we will tomorrow, but I will also expand on this a little bit and then kind of give you a little bit of context of my experiences with Babaji regarding many of the basic practices that we have in Amrita Mandala. I would sit here for 2 hours, no problem. Such a good charge. So that's it in terms of practices. We still have few minutes before dinner. So if you have anything, feel free to share.